All right, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in the previous video, we've created this same logistic dashboard, but we have a new offer now to create something different and track a different KPI. So which is what we have on our screen right now. So the other KPIs we're going to track is those ones right here. So we're going to actually run all of this together. So, and after all this, we need to give some kind of key insight to customer retention. Then with that, then what we're going to do next is for we to actually create a beautiful background in PowerPoint that looks like this. So this is the first one I've created, and this is the very one we're going to be using in this current dashboard that you're actually watching right now. Then the next thing is for we to look at the dashboard expectation. So we are going to look forward to have something as beautiful as this and this one right here. So with all this, we are good to go. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel before, go ahead and do that and make sure you download all the files you need to get started. So let's take a tour through the dashboard we're about to create. So if you look at this right here, so let's say I click on this particular full state here now. So it has filtered my dashboard. I can look at the cities on this particular state I have selected. And if I click back the filter, I have the full, cities back. And that is exactly what it is. Oh no, yeah, sure. Now we have 5 cities selected now. Those are the whole cities we have for the whole state in the United States. So you can actually close this here and open a filter. So you can filter any of your trailer truck or whatever it is. So you can actually go ahead and have this one closed. Then clicking on this one will take you to a different dashboard entirely. So this is the first one we have created. So you might want to take a look at this. It's very important. So just take a look at how we have gotten this one created. And one of the beautiful things is the key insight on this particular current dashboard right here. If you look at it now, we have just shot of the insight. So clicking on learn more is going to take you to this particular page where you can actually read more on what the business can do to get improved. So clicking here now takes you back to the main dashboard. So if you're ready, let's get this created together. All right, everyone, here is the previous one we have created. Let us now insert a new page, and in this new page is blank, nothing is inside it. The very first thing you need to do is to create a disconnected table where you want to actually save all your measures in. So go ahead to table tools here. You see where it says new table. Click on that new table and name your table. So I'm going to just say measure table for an instance, or table measure. So with your equal sign here, use the curly bracket here, double quotation inside it, and put any letters or any word you want to put in. It's left to you. Then go ahead and close this and hit your enter key. That will definitely create a disconnected table where what it only does is to store in measures. So already we have that, so we don't need to actually execute it. I've canceled it. So let us look at what we have before. In order to speedy this particular lecture here, we have already created some measures that you need to know about. Specifically, this very one is one of the KPI we are going to need. So we have added a comment here for a client to actually clearly understand what happened here, specifically when it comes to division by 1000. So what we did was for we to some kind of sum the weight in kilograms. So let me show you where this is coming from. If I go to my table view, so I'm going to come to this particular fact table phrase here. So you can look at this particular path where we have the net revenue. We want this as a KPI, the weight in kilogram, the weight in cubic here, and the goods value. We need them. So we have already written some measures to calculate all this, and that is what I'm showing you right over here. So the next one here now is actually the total weight in cubic. So we don't need to do any division by 1000, just like what we have done right here. So as I'm showing you right now, just pause the video and type exactly the formula you see just from here to here. So if you're already actually a member on my YouTube channel, you will definitely have access to this PBRX full and take a look at it. Or if you're actually on any of my courses, you will definitely have free access to this. So the next one now is our total revenue, which is very, very simple. So the total revenue is just the sum of the revenue from this particular fact table phrase and the total goods value. Then finally, we have the total delivery orders. So we are using distinct count. We know what distinct count does. It only ignores duplicates and count the unique values for you. And that is why we use distinct count over the invoice number in the fact table phrase. Do you understand that now? Those are the first KPI you need to create. So the next thing we have to do now is to actually get those KPI into a card. So first of all, let me go for my total net revenue or total revenue here. So with a quick formatting, just let us click over here and click on more, then click here. Let's put this on 30. So that is beautiful. So we can just make it a bit smaller. Something like this is cool. Then the next thing is for we to actually go for this one and put it on 12. Make sure it's on 12. So we are actually cool with this. So let's kind of make it a bit smaller. Then go over here and copy, paste down. So we're going to change what we have in here to the next one, which is going to be the goods value, right? So here we go. We change this. So nicely done. So we paste on that one. We just move it over here. Don't forget, don't just bother about the arrangement for now. So this one is going to be weight in tons. So here we go. This is the one. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is that I don't like the way it is some kind of formatted right now. So I want to click on the measure itself. And here we go. So I'll put off the extra decimal we have out. So I don't want that. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have done. So this is exactly what it is that we want. So the next thing is for we to paste a new one. So we move the new one over to this particular place. And this new one will take the weights in cubic, right? So let's go. So we go over here. So we pick this one. And finally, so we have to take our, delivery orders. So I'll bring this over here. So quickly we do this. We click on this and delivery orders. We have it here. So now that we have gotten all of this, the next thing we have to do is to see the changes, year over year changes, or the previous year changes and all of that. So to create that, we need to start with a new measure, which I'm going to show you from the scratch how to do it. So let's go over here and insert a new measure. All right, for we to create this, I'm going to just type here year over year growth revenue. So I want to put it on a percentage. I would like to start with percentage here. So in the bracket, you can put my percentage over here, something like this. And with my equal sign, I always love to indent. Shift Enter will take you down. Tab key will move it a little bit to indent it for you. So we just want to use variable to get this done. It's very simple and easy. So with variable, I'm going to say current. I love using underscore because underscore is actually quick to retrieve. So current revenue. So with my current revenue now, let's say we need to put year. So current year revenue. And over here, we just need to store in our total revenue. So here's our total revenue. Shift. And over here again, we actually going to create a new variable. So this variable is going to be underscore, and this one will be previous. So previous year revenue. So for the previous year revenue, what we need to do right here is to use the calculate function over here. So I'm going to do Shift Enter. So I'll tap to indent it. So using the calculate function here. So what the calculate function will do, the calculate function is going to calculate the what? It's going to calculate the total revenue. So total revenue here, comma. So we do that by same period last year, same period last year. So now we need to get the date column inside here, right? So the date table, so date, and here we have it. So date table date. So with this, we have this closed. So in case you have some kind of like wondering where do we have this date from, I'm going to show you where we have this date from. So close this, and the next thing now is to shift. So then we have to type in the return to print what we want out on the screen. So we do return. So return, shift, enter. So under the return now, we're going to use the divide function. So the divide function is going to do underscore current, right? So we subtract our current revenue from the previous one. So under underscore again, then previous. And now we divide it by the previous, underscore previous. So yeah, divide by underscore previous. And for the alternate result, we want to see 0 if there is some kind of division by 0. So what we want to see should be actually 0. That's exactly what it is. So now we can just close this and we are done. So go ahead and hit enter. So do we hit enter now? Yes, of course. So we are done with this. We can hit our enter key. So this will definitely create that for you. So this is going to be in percentage. So we have to quickly format it into a percentage number formatting. So do this right here and take off the extra decimal. We don't want to see 0.5, 1.20 something, whatever. So put 0 right over here. Then you hit your enter key. Okay, now for this same period on the date part here, if I go over here, we already have a date table created in the previous video. So look at it, those are the codes. You can actually go ahead and type the same thing. All you have to do is to actually insert a new table and type all those code in there and you're going to have this data. Now, if you're actually a Power BI user, you would have known how to actually create your date table yourself by now. So let's go back right here. And now we have it. Let us bring it into a card and see what we have. So this is what we have right here, 91% growth, right? That is beautiful. So I'm going to have this over here for now. So the next thing I'm going to do to quickly create for orders now is just to do a duplicate of this particular code. So create a new measure. So for this new measure, let's do this for goods value, right? So goods value. So I'll paste this down, Ctrl V to paste this down, growth, and I'll change this particular part to a different thing. So here we go. So now here I can just type in GV for goods value. I'll do the same thing over here. Those are where I just need to update GV here. And now we update the measure itself. This is exactly what it is. Just update this measure to something like this. So those are the two measures we need to update. So after you might have done that, you need to actually come here and have this revenue removed and represent it with this one. Have this one removed as well. So get to use this, then have this one removed. So here we go. So we have just done this. Hit your enter key. This is exactly what you need to do to have all of them created. So now once you have done this, go ahead and actually make sure you convert this into a percentage and definitely remove the extra decimal out of it. So nicely done, right? So this is exactly what we're going to do. So we don't have to do this together, right? You can just do this behind the scene, then I come back and show you what is good. So all you have to do, let me do this for the last time, insert in your measure and know what is next. So delivery is actually what you want to do right now. So go ahead and paste this one and change this particular measure to delivery, then change this particular name to delivery and change all of these particular ones, which is the variables you are actually displaying over here to make a division. And that is all you need to do. All right, we have gotten everything created here. So let us make this one very small. So I'm going to click here and I'll make this 10. So come over here and let's make this like 12. So 12, I think it's not really pretty. Okay, let's see. So let's increase it to 15. So 15 is a bit cool. And now what I need to do is actually going to be, I wouldn't like to show this huge, label. What do I call it? So I'd love to make it something very simple to read. So I will just come over to here, then double click on this one. So what I'll do now is just to say versus previous year. So VS. So previous year will be PREV. So full step and days. So this would be a lot shorter. So just do this and it's okay. So the next thing now is for we to actually go ahead and copy. So we paste it down. So we get the same thing over to this place. So we're gonna get to fill this in. So take any corresponding one. So you just need to know exactly what you are choosing. So here we go. So you update this particular path as well. So just go here, double click over here, and here we go. So remember, whatever changes you make here does not affect the original measure you have created. They still have their original names. So don't just get freaked about it at all. So we need to actually get the new one, copy and paste. So bring this over here, and now it's weight in tons. So we have all of them here. Let us just go ahead and update this. So we have this updated. So once done, we shift to this one. So do this one as well. So we have it updated. And finally, we go ahead and update this very one. So this is beautiful. So now we are actually going very far. So on the already completed dashboard, this is what we actually have. So we have just gotten those particular parts here accomplished. All we don't have now is on the very one we are creating is just the design. So the next one we're going to achieve together is this particular part right here, where we have this particular, customer with multiple orders and customer with single orders, and we have key insights. So the key insights we have right here is based on those particular customers right here, right? And we have more. When we click here, it takes us to this particular key insight page where we can actually see the recommendation we made for the client, because this is exactly where the major work is. So he needs to actually get to know his customer very well and how he could actually satisfy them. So we have given some kind of suggestion on what could be done. So getting back right to this particular place right now. So it is time for we to get this particular part created. So let's move to our original version now. So here we are. Let's get it done by going to I think it's the freight table. So go to the data view here. So click here. So inside here right now, we're going to insert a new calculated column. So new column. So what we want to check right now is to check for the customers with one order and customers with multiple orders. Let's find out how we could actually do that. So what we can do right now is just to let's type has one values, has one or multiple. Okay, has one order or multiple. So you can break it down with with underscore, but I don't want to do that. I think I'm really cool with this one here. So all I do is this, and to check that, what you can do right now is to use the if function to get started. So after the if function, for the logical test, what you can do is to use the calculate function right now. So with the calculate function, we're going to use that function called count rows. What count rows does is count how many rows we have in this particular table. So what are we going to supply to the count row? That is the table, which is this particular F of fact table freight here. So it's a table. Then we go ahead and close it, then hit our comma key. So on the comma key now, we're going to use that function called all except here. So I'm going to explain all this function, what is the functionality in this particular path. So the first thing we give to it is the table name, and the table name is still the same thing, fact table freight here. So comma, now the column. So the column we want to actually do this particular calculation or base it on right now is our customer ID. So I'm going to type customer, So I have my customer ID. Remember, we have two different types of customer ID right now. We have customer ID existing in our customer table. We don't want that to give us wrong calculation. Instead, we want to use the one we have in this particular fact table freight customer ID. So this is the one we are going to use. So once we are done with this now, we can close, and that closes, okay, let me close this over here. I have this closed over here right now. So let me reduce this so that you can see it better. Then I close once more. I close my calculate function. So after closing my calculate function, I'm going to say if our count is greater, if any customer count in this particular table is greater than 1, so that is where we need to actually give our result as true or false. So if that is true, what we need to do right now, inside double quotation, we want to see years, else we want to see no. So we'll go ahead and have this closed. Do you see this now? Very simple. Okay, if I go ahead and hit my enter key, let's see what is going to happen. So we'll have something like this. So if I open it up, can you see no and years? So for years, those are the customers that has repeated orders. They have more than one orders. And the no is actually customer that only purchased from us once. So let us add some explanation to further explain it. So some clients would want you to explain exactly what you have done right here, and that is exactly what I'm about to do right now. So all I will have to do is to add a comment over here, just like what you have seen right now. So what this comment does is actually explain exactly what we have done. So as I'm scrolling up, just make sure you pause and read through exactly what you are seeing right now. Then I'm going to scroll again, then read this particular path. The first step is this one. Then read the second step by pausing. Then you can read the explanation by pausing as well. Then finally, you read the final result. Then that will definitely give you what the insight on what I've done right here to get this calculated. So we are not done yet. After you might have done with this particular calculation, the next thing you do is to go over here. So now inside our current table, which is this particular revenue insight table, so we want to create a measure here. So now I'm going to create a new measure over here. So what this particular current measure we're going to create now will do is to actually give us the customers that has multiple orders with us. I'm going to just say customers with multiple orders. So all we have to do to get that done is to use the calculate function. So with the calculate function, we can calculate and count. So using the count function, count. So we are counting that particular column has, can you see it now? Has one order or multiple. You see that? So you go ahead and close this. That satisfied your count for you. So once you have counted it, so we want to actually return only where we have yes, and we do comma is actually asking for filter. So we now filter it by saying has one value. So where it is only equal to years, then we go ahead and close this. So this formula is more than this, but I'm going to just stop it right here for you to understand why we are going to be creating the next one as we keep progressing in this particular class. But for now, this is just the basic you need to understand right away. So hit your enter key, and that actually gives you the total numbers of customers that actually repeated their order over and over again. So with this now, we can just, use the comma separator. So I would have loved to copy this, but for, learning purpose, I wouldn't do that. I will only just, create a new one and create for customers with just one order. So create a new measure. So here we're going to name this one customer with one orders. So right here, the same thing, calculate, count, and has one order. So we close and we hit comma. So once done counting, we want to filter just that has one order where now it is equal to what? No. So we go ahead and close. Then we hit one enter key. So we have just created all those customers with one order. So make sure you use the comma separator as well. Do you understand this now? Very simple, it's not complicated. So the next thing we're going to calculate right now is to get the percentage of those customers with one order. So it's very, very simple. So all we have to do right now is just to create a new measure here. Okay, inside this measure, I'll just say percentage of repeat cost. Let me just use repeat customer repeat customers. So here what we do is to use the divide function. So divide. So what are we dividing? We are dividing our customer. So customer with multiple order, comma, and we do that by customer with multiple order plus our customer with one order. So you must understand that now. Very simple. So we can hit our enter key right here. So we just turn this into a percentage, and we go ahead and remove what? We go ahead and remove the extra decimal places we're having it. So here we go. We have this. So we can create a new measure. So in this very measure, we're going to name it percentage of one-time customer. So which is going to be percentage of one-time customers. So the divide function, customer with one order here. So customer with one order. So the denominator would be our customer with multiple order. So plus our customer with one order. So we go ahead and close, then hit the enter key. So this has just created exactly what we want for us. You get it? I can go ahead and actually format it right now. And the next thing we go ahead and do is take off the 2 decimal places we have in it. So we can now bring this into our view and let us see exactly what we have done. We have not even looked at it. We've just some kind of created all of them. So I get this. I can stretch it. So we have it here. So I'm going to pull this one to this level. So we take this off and we bring this in. Oh no, can you see it now? So the next thing is for us to get the percentages. So I would love to just use this above 1. So put this right here. So now we go ahead and get for multiple. So let's go for the percentages. So repeat customer percentage is 98%. So we bring this over here. So this one is not that, that is going to be one-time percentage, just 2%. Can you see it now? Beautiful. Can you see this? So we're actually going towards creating a beautiful dashboard, but this is exactly what you need to do for the first time before you start arranging your dashboard. All right, the next thing now is for you to actually create a monthly trend of our revenue. How do we do that? So the very first thing I'll allow you to do with me now is actually going to the date table here. So we have our date table. So inside our date table, we have this particular, month, being grouped. Should I call it group, or I should call it some kind of, we created a hierarchy for it. So hierarchy is just like when you group something, right? So we created a hierarchy. So go right here. So when you are here, make sure you turn on the properties and as well the date. So focus right here now. I'm going to click on my date table here. So if I click on my date table, I'll have it opened. So you see this particular kind of, should I call it icon? Yeah, icon. So click on it. That is where you have your, what do I call it? This is your, your hierarchy. Yeah, sure. It is your hierarchy. So look at this particular place. Make sure you have something like this. So your year comes first, your month, then your quarter. So they could be arranged. You can just move it. When you just move it like this, so now you have to apply, but we don't want that. So we have to bring this back to the top. So the year, the month, and the quarter. So click on apply if you've not done that. So make sure it's actually well arranged like this. Then we go all back here. If you want to delete it, this is where you can actually delete. I can take off my quarter now. I'll just click on this and I'll take it off. So now we can step back in here. So we go ahead and create this particular area chart. So we can expand our area chart to look much more elegant than having it small. So inside this area chart, what we want to have here is actually our month being grouped, which is this particular one right here. So can you see it now? Then after this, we go for the value we want to pull in. So I think we have it over here. That is going to be our total revenue. So beautiful. So now it's displaying this by the year. So we can always, use this to, can you see it now? This is exactly the view we want to see, the year as well and the month. So we have gotten this done. So we are right there. Okay. If I go back to the completed one, I'm going to show you something here. You look at it. So here we have it. This is exactly what we are trying to create. And over here, our client actually said they needed this particular kind of map. And the data they have for us in the previous class is there is no difference, but they added one table to it. And if you look at it here now, if I go over here, so we have a new table, and that table is called state. So here is a state table. Can you see it now? So it has a short state, the state ID, and the full state right here. So in the previous one, we do not have this. So we have to bring this into our table now. So let's go ahead and get it. So we are here. So we have to go all the way to our transform data. So getting to Power Query right now, we need to go and get that particular data or that particular table we just received. Okay. At this time, if you have not subscribed, like, and just do that. It's not really cost. Just hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think about this. So, okay, now we are actually going to go to new source, and the new file we received is actually in Excel workbook. So go ahead and click that. Okay, so here we go. So this is state, double click on it. So just wait for it. So it's connecting. All right, here we have it. So just click on the one that says state and go ahead and click on OK here. So already we have it here. So the next thing we have to do right now, we can actually create connection between this table and our customer table. So let's see our customer table. In our customer table, we have the customer state. So, and we have the customer cities. So the customer state is in the short form. So they realized that this will not make a lot of sense. They now brought in the full state here. So click on the customer table and go over to where it says merge queries and make sure you click on merge queries. Please don't use merge query as new, just click on the one that says merge queries. So once you have done that, okay, let us bring this table up, and the table is state. So we have state. This particular abbreviation here has a match with this state here. So we should have 100% match. So can you see 43910 by 43910 here? So if you have anything less than this in either of them, just know that you don't have the actual match you're looking for. So don't touch anything, just go ahead and click on OK. All right, so click here, and now you click on the index. Oh, we have it as index. We don't want to have it as index. Let us go ahead and change it because we want to actually see what makes sense. I'll go over here. So instead of me to use it as index that they gave us, let us go ahead and type state ID. So state ID. So we can do the same thing. So click on this. Then go ahead and click here, state. So now you select this, then click on OK. Okay, now we click here. So don't always use this. In case you want to know what will happen if I do that, if I click on OK, so you have state.state ID. So we don't want that, right? So click back on this particular settings icon here. Oh no, that wouldn't do that for us. So we have to remove it. So fresh, do this. We only want the ID. So we take off this one and we click on OK. So now we have this, right? If we have to some kind of, okay, I think we are done. The next thing we just click here and we send it back. So now let's check it out. If I come over here, we should have, go to our customer table. So now we have the customer table with our ID. So what do? Let's get in our full state here. Yeah. So before we do anything, we have to check for the relationship between the state and the let's just collapse this one. So between the state and our what do I call it? So I'm gonna bring this over here, the state and our customer table. So here we go. So I'm gonna move this to this side. So can you see it? So we have the many side here and the one side here, which is correct. It's automatically connected for us. So now we go here. So there is no need for we to get it here, but I just want to show you, in case you have the need to do that, I want to show you how you can actually get something from the one side to many side using either lookup value as a function or a related function. So I'm talking about those two functions right here. So we have a function called lookup value, and we have a function called related. So we have another function called the related table. So those are three functions that you can use. Those two functions will retrieve something from one side to what? From one side to many side. While this one would retrieve something from many side. So from many side to one side. So is it? So let us look at the two functions here. It's not really important in what we are doing, but let us learn a little bit of DAX now. Come on. So we actually go ahead and insert a new column. So if I want to bring in my full state now, what I will do is just for me to actually say, okay, I'll type in here full state 1. So full state 1. So I come over here and I use a function called lookup value. So the lookup value is looking for result name, which is what do we want to have in this particular column we have created. That is the result name. And I'm going to say, okay, I need a full state. That is it. So because there is some kind of relationship existing between customer table and our state table, so now we can pull it here. So the question again is going to be search column name 1. So what can we use to retrieve this particular column you want to get? I'll go for ID. I'll go for ID, that is state ID. So it will ask for search volume 1 of value, sorry, for search value 1. I'll still use the ID again. ID, that is the state customer ID, state now this is going to be from the state customer ID. So the next thing is just to go ahead and hit the enter key. So now we have the state name. Let me quickly help you through what is going on right here. So in the lookup value here asks for where is what we want to pull in. We want to pull in the full name, so which is exactly what we have here. So it's asking for like, okay, what can we use to identify it in that particular table where this particular full name is? So we say we have the ID there. Okay, if you have the ID there, what can we use to actually match it between this table and that table? And we say we want the same ID that we have here, which is this one, to be matched with this particular ID we have right here. That is just it. But this some kind of look a little bit complicated. We have one function that could do it for us without we even doing too much. So let's do that. So over here, I told you the related function can actually pull something from the one side to the many side, right? So I'll just say full state 2 here. So I'll just type in here related, and with that I'll just say full state. So one function. So it's just that sometime you will definitely see that there are some problems this one will not be able to solve, that the only solution is using the lookup value to solve such a problem. So this is some kind of slight situation to use this. So we don't need either of them here because already we have a table that has all of those particular state for us. So what we're going to do right now, we have it truncated. Delete. I'm sorry, we actually spent some time doing this, but for now I have to get them off because this is actually called denormalization. So we already have our tables normalized. Why do we need to have this right here? So get this off as well. So in order to actually normalize the other table, we have to go back to Power Query and remove this particular one from here. We don't actually need it. So we have this particular state ID to help us look it up from that other table. So why do we need to have this right here? That mistake was made when we actually went to Power Query to get in that table. After we have gotten in the table, we actually created some merge queries, and that was when we should have actually gotten this one removed. So now we have it removed. That is beautiful. So click here. Don't be afraid of anything. Nothing happens. Everything is okay. Just let's wait for it to actually get a change in here. Okay, we have everything we need. So we are here. And the next thing now is for we to go to state table. So here there was state table. In our state table, we have the full name. I bring in the full name here, and automatically the full name is showing up like this. So I can actually click on my full name and go over here to data category, and I can actually choose what I want to categorize it with, like state or province here. So let us give it some time. You're going to see a globe icon here that shows that, okay, this is actually not just an ordinary column, but this column is actually a step. So now we need to actually go ahead and change this to something like field map here. So we are going to use a field map to get this. So it's coming up, just give it some time. So this is the field map we use, but this is not what our client is looking for. So we have to choose the right map to be used for this project. So going over here now, we can drop down and where is that map? Where is that map? Okay, this is the map here. It's called shape map. So click on the shape map, and what you're gonna have is gonna be something like this. So the next thing now is for we to look at how we can actually make this to look very beautiful, just like what we have over here. You see that? So now here is it. When you hover over it, you have this. If you click anything, you have something like, should I call it tooltip or whatever? So you're going to see what shows up here that actually tells us what we have actually selected. So do you look at that? So this is where we have selected. If I click here now, so automatically it will definitely change to Georgia and all of that. So we are going to create all of this right over here. So now we're here and this is here. So for the functionality, there are some functionalities we're going to leave until we start creating, until we are done with our design. So the next thing now, for me to actually give you that excitement of knowing how to create a very beautiful dashboard, let's go to the design level. And now I'm going to introduce you to PowerPoint, where we create our background. All right, welcome to the PowerPoint environment, where we start creating our template for a very good dashboard in Power BI. So as you can see, this is the previous one we have created. Make sure you have this particular file downloaded from this video you're watching right now for you to have access to all of this and the colors as well, plus the icons. So we're going to go over here. So right click, and I just want to duplicate this very slide. So right now, I don't need all of this right here. I'm going to get them deleted ASAP. So delete, I'm going to delete this one, have this one deleted. So we just need few things here that we'll start creating from the scratch. So if you have actually followed me from my first video, you will definitely understand exactly what we are doing right now. So I'm going to have this one deleted as well. So let's keep this very circle here. I'm going to keep it down here. So for this one, we get this one deleted. Okay, so we are going to have to keep this, but we need to some kind of maintain here to make it a party space. Okay, we need to change the size, the height, and the weight of this one. So to do that now, go over here. So we click over here, we make this one 3.44. So we want to do that by 5.81. That is what we want, exactly like this. So once we are done with this, I can duplicate it and have this right here. So we need this card into 5 places. So that is the final 5. So for me to arrange this very well now, I'm going to bring this here. So I always want to have a white space at this particular spot here. And the same white space should be right here. So exactly. So what I'm going to do right now to have it equally justify this for me to actually highlight all of them together, then go over here and go to align, and I'm going to distribute horizontally, then fine. So we align this one to the top. So here we are very sure of what we've done. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to double click, Ctrl D to get this. And I have this as a duplicate. So I come over here, I select this color. So in case you're actually wondering where do we have this color from, so here is the color right here we are using. So I'll go over to the one we're creating. Now I'm going to take this one here, have it duplicated again for the second time. So for this one, I'm going to move it above this one, right click and send it to back. So make sure you do this. So it gives you this reflection here. So I'm going to do this again. I have to duplicate this one. So I'm going to put this one over this one here, right click and send to back. So we don't want it to appear here and appear here. So your arrow up will make it disappear exactly. So now move it this way. Finally, we go with this last one here. So right click and send to back. So this time around, we just do this. Can you see what we've gotten? Nicely done. So we're going to have to some kind of resize this one to look a little bit bigger than what we have right now. Very important. Let's do it. So move to this particular shape format here. So we want to do this one 2.08 by 2.08. That is what we want. So once we have gotten this done, so I want to change this particular side that looks some kind of a bit darker. So all you can do is to switch this. I've shown you how to create this in the first video. So just switch this here. So here we go. We move this over to this particular spot. Can you see it now? So I'm going to have this here. You can just do this a bit. So for this one now, I can do something like this. So do you see that? So all I have to do is to duplicate this. So click here and have it Ctrl D to duplicate it. So with the duplicate now, you can move this right here. Ctrl D again. So nicely done. So you can just manually move it to have exactly what I want. So we get this one moved. Okay, fine. So we have a reflection like this. That is better. So the next thing we're going to do now is to actually have some icons right here. And those are the icons we've used. So I'm going to get this icon, this, and I'm going to get this as well. So all I do is to copy. So I come over here, I Ctrl V to paste it down. So we just have to resize them. So I'm going to make them like this. So I release it. So I'm going to put this one. Oh no, sorry. So I select it. So once I have it in here, I can actually resize it to actually make sure it fits into the container. So the same thing I'm going to do to this one, resize it and make sure it fits into the container right here. So I'm going to do the same thing to this, resize it a little bit. So all we do is to fit it inside here. And we'll do the same thing, resize it, fit it into the container and have it here. So finally, we get to fit this here. I think I'm going to swap this now. We need this one over here. So I'm going to put this one over at this particular spot. So nicely done. Can you see that? So the next thing now is, let me just double this one. I'm going to have it here. And now I'm going to resize this. So let me just bring it down to have a space here. So let's go to this format shape here. So let us do 6.98. So we want to do that by 17.43. So this is the result we actually have. So for this result, I'm going to have this doubled. Once you've done that, move this here. So in this particular part, so what we have to do is to split this into two. You can just do this. So I'll take this one over to this side. So use your up arrow to make sure you get disconnected. Okay. Once you're satiated with what you have, then you can just double this. Move it here. As you can see, it extends beyond here. We don't want that. So we can reduce this a little bit. So do this. It's okay. We still have to. So I always spend a lot of time here. So I want to get a middle to do this. So here we go. So all I'll do now is to click on this above. Go here. I'll go to align and I'll align this to the right. Nicely done, right? So I'll both align them top because I want to actually create equal justification. Okay, nicely done. So Ctrl D to duplicate this as well. So I'll bring this down over here. I'll stretch it to this side. I'll create a white space below here. So something like this. So once we are very much saturated with this, the next thing we're going to do right now, so let me some kind of get this duplicated. So I'm coming over here. This is the only card we want to have at this particular spot. So I'm going to do this. So sure. So we bring this all the way down to cover up to this level. Can you see it now? So we need to maintain this space here. That is nice. So the white space at this edge should be equal. We have gotten it right. So I'm going to control D to double it. And I go to my gradient fill here. And I'm going to change the perspective to something that, okay, I think I'm going to add a new one here. So take this color. This one here should actually go for this color. So what I'm going to do now is to turn it around. Now I need this, yeah, something like this. So I'm going to put this on top of this, right click here and center back. So once we have done that, we move it until we have the reflection like this. So that's exactly what I want. So I don't want to do too much of this. So I think I'm really cool with this one right here. Okay. So once we are very much okay with this, that is beautiful. So we have some other icons we want to add here now. I'll go over to my insert. I'll come here. I'll pick this and I'll drag it down just like this. So what I'm going to do now is to go over here now and say no fill for this part here on the solid line that I want to have it on. So let's some kind of increase it. So yeah, we go. So on gradient. So I want to move it down to this particular part here. So we can just make it a bit smaller. Something like this would be cool. So if I step up now, this is what I have. So I love having it on this way. So just make sure you make it look very cool. So I can Ctrl D to duplicate it now. But before then, let's click on it. Yeah, sure. I have something like this. So duplicate it and have another one right here. So once you're saturated, you'll release it. So you go over to the top again and you pick shapes, you get circle, hold the shift key down to have a perfect circle, just like this. So I'm going to put a circle on top of this here, right? So once we have it there, what I'm going to do now is coming over to this place. Let's get a color, and I would love to get this very color from here. So all I'm going to do is to Ctrl C to copy. So go over to this one, Ctrl V to paste it down. So I'm going to click on this one now. Click here. I'll go for the format, enter here. I'll get a color. So you can see I have gotten the color here. All I do is Ctrl D to get it duplicated. So here we go. I put this one over here like this. So once I've done that, I'm going to say no line to it. Click on this one and say no line. So click here now. On this one, I'm going to have to some kind of use this. Just make it curvy to look like a button. So I'm going to have the button over somewhere around here. You understand? Just have the button around here. So that is going to be, we're going to make it clickable something right there. So we have one more. That is this particular light bulb here. So we're going to get it and bring it over to this place. Ctrl V to paste it down. So we just make it a bit smaller. So we move it to this edge. So once we have done that, we're going to go into insert. Then from there, we click on this text box, drag the text box down. So we're going to type in key insight. So with the key insight being typed in, so we're going to go ahead to home. Then we come over to the color. Oh, sorry, where is that? Yeah, okay, here's it. So I want to get something like this. So I'm going to put this over here. You get it? Then we can go over to insert, come over here. I can pick anything like this. So I can just drag this. So you can maintain the curveness how you want it to be curvy. I don't really get it right. So let me go ahead and do it once again. I can just pick up this from here. So starting from this part. So I just want to get something like this. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and so I just want to have the curveness is not really amazing. So okay, I think I love something that looks like this. So we are almost done. I think what's left, let's check it out. Everything looks some kind of cool. So let's say we're done from here now. The next thing we're going to do is to go back to our Power BI, right? So I just want to go ahead and remember before I did this, I have known exactly what I have here. So you have to take care of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the 5 cards. And card for month, we have it. The card for here and those 2 cards. And we have some kind of key insight here. So you must have known that before you start getting this created. Or else you can actually take a screenshot or bring it here to have it done. So what we do next is to come here and I can click on export. Click here. I click on JPG. So here I'm going to do BG2. So instead of 1, I'm going to do 2. So click on save, just this one. So we are done from here. So it is time for you to step back to Power BI. So here we are on the Power BI environment. So now that we are here, click out, don't click in here. So make sure let's get this one turned off. Click here on the plus sign, the format. So now I'll click on it. So we'll click on the canvas background. We bring it up to 0%. So we'll click on this and now we go for that. So I'm going to scroll the way down. YouTube post here, BG2. I get it. So now we have it. It's not really organized for now. So all I'm going to do is to actually highlight everything I have right here. Just select everything. Select all the cards. If they are card, have them selected. So you can't select non-card with this. Don't select chat with it, else it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do now is to click here now and I turn off all the background. Can you see that now? Beautiful. So select this particular 2 cards here. Okay, we can't select them at the same time. So we can do it individually. Select this one and turn it off. So we have something like this. Okay, how do we start balancing things up right here the way we really want it? So the very first thing I'm going to do now is to bring this all the way down here. So bring it down. So bring this down. So you bring this down as well. So you go ahead and bring this down. So you bring this down here. So let's both click on all of them. And you go over to format, you go to align and you align bottom. So equal justification is what we're looking for. I think we are happy with this, right? So if we go back to our PowerPoint here, you see this particular color we have over here, which is this one. Is what we're going to use. You can copy it, go to more colors. So we can just copy the color, Ctrl+C the copy. So we step out from here. So we go all the way to our call out here and we choose to paste the color in here. So can you see that now? This is what we have. So for the category label, we just choose to use this and this is beautiful. So for those ones like this one here, I'm going to select them. Oh no. Sorry for that. Select all of them. So first of all, let us have the color on the listing changed to something like this. Okay, so we can come here, go to more color. So we can just customize the way I look at it. So I look It's some kind of looking cool. So I want to keep it at a light place where I can have a light one. Something like this will be very okay for me. So make sure the color does not go outside the color we are using, or the color combination rather. So I'll go to the color out here. So this time around, I want to use something white, or not this, like this. Okay, nicely done. So it's time for me to balance things up here. So I can some kind of make it this small. Once I've gotten the size I want. So once I've gotten the size I want, I'll come over to my size here. So I'll click on this. I think I have 64 by 105. So let's do that. Whole lot of them. So 64 by 105. So they have been converted to the same thing. So we're good to go. So we can now bring this here. So what I'm going to do now is to do the same thing. I wouldn't mind these settings over here. Just make sure you align it properly. So the next thing we're going to do now is to make sure we select all of them. So once we have done that, we go over here. We align bottom right. Oh no. Yeah, let's say, I think we have this issue of size here. The height is 64. So I'm going to do this here. So we need 64 here, 64. So we have equal sizes for all of them now. So I think we can now make use of what we have now. So I can take this one up above this one. This is the size we want to use. Then select all of this. So go align to formats, align, then align bottom. So we now have proper alignment now. So what is now left is that we want to make sure we have this. So we can just use this and resize it. So we can just manually move this until we have the size we're looking forward to seeing. And we have something like this. That is beautiful. So please don't go yet, because we have enough to show you here. So if I go to the finished one, let's go into here. So let's say I click over this part here. So now if I hold my control to select that mount again. So you now see what we're going to have. I call it an error, but sometimes it's not some kind of major error, but something that has to do with blank is an error. So your client or your boss don't want to say that. So this is what we have right now. So it's giving us blank. We have controlled the error right here, just to make sure I show you what it is. So we need to actually control this, and I'm going to show you how to handle this situation. And that's what we're going to do is this red here, when it's below, a normal percentage, a positive percentage, and it's negative, we want to see red just like this. So, and white when we have this color. So in order to do that, let's go back to our main work to finish what we are doing first. So we go over to this particular part here. So we are right here right now. So we need to get this settled. So we can just adjust this to fit into here. So once we have done that, the very first thing we're going to do is this. So we want to go to the title here. And for the title, we want to give it, where is that? Yeah, we just need to give the color, this color here. That's the title we want for it. Total revenue by year and month. So it's dynamic title. So once we have done that, we go to the x-axis here. Because we don't want to turn on the data label, so we'll leave the y-axis here. So but for the title of the x, we just want to turn it off. So we go ahead for this, and then we make it look bold. I think no, bolding is not really an ideal. So here we go. For the y-axis now, the title should be some kind of turned off as well. But for this one here, we go for the value. So for the value, we select this color. So something like this is perfect. You get it? So let us touch this particular part. How do we go about this one here? So make it, just remove this particular category label away. So adjust it and make it look very perfectly sitting at this level. So you do the same thing to this one as well. So you go ahead and have it right here. So the next thing we're going to do right now is to actually reduce their size. So do this now. Let's do this on 30. So size on 30, perfect. I love it. But let me do 35 if I want to be bolder than any of it. So I'm going to click over here now and select the same color I've used for the other part of it. So this is exactly what it is that we have. So the next thing now is for we to select this one, which is the percentage. And on the percentage, we put the percentage on white. Let it show. So I can just remove this. I can resize the percentage and make sure it sits here. So get the format painter and give it up to this. So we do something like this here. Can you see it? So if you look at it now, we made a mistake when we created this. So we should have actually had an icon here. We didn't do that. So we can always go back to this, go back here. And the two icons we're going to use is those icons here. I'm going to copy and come over here and have those icons pasted in here. So make them a bit smaller. That will contain where we want to have them in. So now we can pick this one here. So I want to have this one here. So it doesn't matter if it's on top of this one, that is what I want. So do the same thing here as well. This is exactly how I want the icons to look like here. So once we've done that, all we have to do is to save again. Click here, here. Oh no, I don't want to do PNG. I think previously we used JPEG, right? So we go ahead and, oh no, we mistakenly closed. The export is what we want. So we go for this, replace it, just this one. So we go over to this completed one here. So now we go ahead and grab our new background here. So we're going for this. Let's see what we have. So can you see it now? Perfectly. So it's looking fine now. So what is left is actually we getting to use this text box to type in what we have. So how can we remember what it is that we have here? So if you want to remember what the card is, just click over here. Then double click on this one. It's highlighted. Control C to copy. Then come here now and paste what you've copied in here. So Control A to highlight the content inside it and go over to 10.5. 10.5 is okay. So for the 10.5, for this one here, I want it to look bolder than the rest. So all I do is to highlight it. Just take your time to do this highlight. Then come over here and select, we're looking for a bold font, this one here. So we can just make this go with this. So I'm going to come over here now and turn off the background. So click on it, Control A, and we gave it the color. So we can bring this down here. So all I'm going to do now is to click here and enter to step it down. So highlight the content in the middle. So click on this one. So bring this one down. Click over here to adjust this one to fit exactly what we have in here. And make sure this one is centralized on it. So click on the above one here. So all we have to do is to copy, then paste it. So we move this one over to this end here. Then we click on the value we have here. So we drop it down to match. So after we might have done that, the next thing we're going to do now is to click here, double click on this, copy, and go over to this one, Control A and paste it. Ctrl A, highlight the content inside. So we are using 10.5. So now we do the color, this here. So all we have to do now is just do this. Select this very part here, hit your enter key. So you want to have something like this, highlight this content. So now we make something like this. So I think quietly fine. So we have this, okay? So after we have gotten this now, what is left? Let us work with this particular parts. Our chart is becoming what exactly we want, all right? So remember this particular part on this chart that we have not really done. So don't forget it. We still have more work to do. And that is, I'm talking about this one here. When you hold your control key, because we're not on Power BI service, so it's going to actually activate something for you. And that is going to be this chart here, where we can actually filter a particular state, and it will show us the city in those states we have just selected. Can you see? So, and it will show us this. So we still have more work still. Stay tuned. So we can have this one hidden by clicking back on this. We have it hidden. So when we have it hidden, so we still prevent the filter, and I'm going to show you how to do all that. So let's get back. So we are right here now. I'm going to stretch this one like this and stretch it all over. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and turn on the data title. So the title is being turned off. What is next? So it is time for we to start working on this. Hovering over it, we have this, but we don't have any value right on it right now. So we need to click right here, and here we have it. Can you see? Nothing is actually inside it. So all we have to do is to click here, and what we want to use is the revenue. So we're going to click on where we have the revenue being, okay, here we go. So our revenue is here now. So we have something like this. So it's looking great, but this is not exactly what we want. So what we actually want is for we to actually format this very map into something that looks very beautiful. So I'm going to go to this same place. So for my highest value, I want to get this color. So I'm going to copy the color code away from here in case I couldn't find it. So it has been copied. I go over here. Go over here. So go over to this place here. I click on this particular fill colors. So I want to use two colors for the highest value maximum. Okay, I already have the color. I want this color here. So for the color to come out very well, let's go here and show you the color I'm going to use. The next color I would like to use would be the color, this very color here. This is the color of my background. So I will go right, just go ahead and copy the same color code. So this is it. So let's step out from here. Now for the minimum now, I want to select this color so that matches my background. Can you see it now? So what the clients want to see, they want to quickly identify those states with highest value. And you can see where we have bright color, those two bright color are the most highest value, followed by those other ones that are bright. And before we come back to this one that are not too. So now we use the background color, not the card color now. And it has given us exactly what we want. So do you see this now? Beautiful. So in case you want to touch this color here, specifically this very top one, all you have to do is to click over here, and you can just play around with it. Can you see it now? You can play around to check it out. So now this is what you have, but I'm going to go with what we have before. And that is this one here. So I'm really cool with this. So let's go with this. Now this is what we have. Okay, the next thing we're going to do now is to actually change the color of this very one. So all I need to do is the line. So I go over to the line here, scroll down. So for this particular part here on the linear, I'm going to choose smooth. That's smooth line for me. So after that, I choose the color. I go over here. I choose to use this color. That is beautiful. So this is exactly what you can do to have something as beautiful as this created. So it is looking just like the previous one. If you look at it, can you see it now? Nice color. Okay, now that we have gotten this created, what is left? let us click on this particular one here and give our map a name. So I will just copy and have it pasted. So I'm going to drag what I've copied into this particular part. So at the top here, I want to type in for the top total revenue. So total revenue. And for my total revenue, I want to show very well. I'm going to highlight that part and I'll brighten it to white. So right here, it's going to be by state. So this is all I want to be here. And that is all. We just move it up a little bit. So we have it this way. Can you see it now? Total revenue by state. So if you're actually still watching, I must say thank you very much for watching, for learning with me as well. So the subscribe button is your friend if you have not subscribed. The like button and saying thank you would actually give me more, opportunity to know that I'm actually changing people's mindset in terms of analytics out there, in terms of dashboard creating, and I'll have much more energy to create more content for you guys. So please do leave a comment and subscribe. So let's get into this. If I go to this part here, the already finished dashboard, I would definitely go ahead and copy something that we don't need to do over and over again. So, and that is this one here, not just this one here, and as well this one here. But what I'm going to do now is to just some kind of hold my Ctrl key, click on this here, and I have this up at the same time. So all I'm going to do now is to click on this. So I've selected it, select this one as well. Okay, I've been selected. So selected, and now we select this one. So what I'm going to do is to Ctrl C to copy. So once copied, I'm going to come back to this page here. Then I Ctrl V to paste it down. So we have it pasted down, and this is exactly what we want. So we are good with this. But this now is not working, it's not closing. So it's no more working. The functionality has been destroyed. So we have to actually repeat the same thing we've done before. But before then, let's click on this one here and copy and paste it down. So the pasted one should be moved to this end. So I can reduce this. So over here, I'm going to type the dashboard name. So what I'm going to do now is to come over to this particular part. I'll go to the text area. So in the text area, so I have open filter. I'm going to change it to revenue insight. So revenue insight is what I want for it. So the next thing now is to copy the same thing I have here. Copy. So I'll go over here. So I will name this dashboard as well. Ctrl V to paste it in here. So now we don't want revenue insight. Instead, we just say driver. I'm going to put driver here. Driver. Let's do go to driver insight. Okay. So if we return back here now, because they're going to be some kind of navigation, right? So we return back in here. So we click on this one and quickly we scroll all the way down. So at the back here, I put my go to here. So somebody can navigate through this. This is actually handy specifically if the person is actually some kind of interacting with this in Power BI service, so where you cannot easily view this because we're going to have all of them hidden, right? Okay, so now the next part now is this particular part here. So let us click on the plus sign and then we go over to, where is it? Bookmark and selection here. So once we have gotten this, so first of all, let us go to our selection. So for our selection, here is the shape, the one we've created. Here is our slicer, this very one here. And the slicer is actually active right now. So what do? we are going to try to look at how we are going to make it hidden and then hide it again when we need to do that. So to get that done, now we're going to assume that this one is actually view. So those are the content inside it, everything you have here. So if I click on this one, it's highlighting what's inside it. So, but we don't want this content inside it. So what we want is the whole slicer. So shut it down and make sure you actually have it highlighted. Then go to bookmark now and add this. And I'm going to say, show to. Let me just use this, show to. So I hit my enter key. Then I come over here. So I want to prevent on filter when we have it hidden. So we want to actually filter, and when we hide the filter, we want something to happen. In case you don't understand what I'm talking about, let me just actually click on update here and go over here. Let us create it wrongly now. So have this hidden, click on this and go ahead to this place here, add it. And I'm going to call this one hide. So hide to. So now, so we have hidden this. So if I click over here now, it has revealed. So if I select anything from here, so it filtered my data for me. So let's look at it. So it has filtered my data. So by the time I click on hide over here, so it will unfilter it. Do you see it now? Let's do it again. Can you see it? Let's say I'm going to put a filter for box here, and that filters my data for me. So once my data is being filtered, so now if I try to hide this, what will happen is this is going to actually unfilter it automatically. And that is what we don't want. Let's hide it. It has unfiltered it. So for we to prevent this exactly, there is something we need to do. So for that, let's click here and have this one deleted. We don't need it. So we're going to start creating from the scratch. So delete this. So now we come over here, we select this. So once we have this selected, the next thing we do now is to say this is hide, because this slider is not showing, right? So we go over here now, we click on add new. So we double click on this one, hide to. So what we do now is to open here. So you can see all of these that are checked. So the only thing I want to keep checked now is display and the selected visual here. So for my data, I uncheck it or unmark it. For the current page, we unmark it. For all visual, we unmark it. So when we go back now, we are going to see that display and selected visuals are opened. So are checked. So go ahead and update it. So we go over here now. We turn on the slicer. So click on the group and go over to this. So click here now, double click on this, and here you say show to. Okay, we do the same thing we've done before. We don't want this. So we don't want current page. We don't want all visual. So we want this and this. Then we'll click on update. So let us watch it. If I click on this now, it's going to filter my dashboard for me. So dashboard is being filtered, right? So if I click on hide, I still prevent that filter. If I reveal it back now, I have it. Can you see it now? These are the difference. In case you don't know how to do this before, now you know. Okay, let's say now I double click on this one. I'll scroll down. Then I'll go over to action. So here I will click on show. So that will give me the opportunity to like click here and it will show this. Then if I double click on this, so I'll have the hide to here. So if I click here now, it's hidden. Make sure you hold your control key so it's back, and we can click back here and clear the filter away from here. So we have gotten this done, and this is beautiful. This is exactly what we want to see. So the next thing now is for me to copy this one again and paste it. So copy and paste, and right here I'm going to move it down to this particular spot. So on this part here, we're going to have this one into two. So the very first one is going to be Let's go over to the text area. So instead of us to have this one here, I'm going to say view revenue by country. View revenue by, I think by cities, right? Yeah, by cities. So by cities, right? That is it. So view revenue by cities. So this one, I want it to look like link. So if I hover over it, I want something to happen. So I'll just click on it. So I'll scroll the way down. Now, okay, yeah, scroll down. Where is that effect? Okay, action. No, not action. We have the I'm sorry. Okay, I think we can't do it on this one here because this is not a button. So this is actually a shape. So I'm going to get it off. I'm sorry, guys. So let's go over to insert. So this time around, we're going to insert a button. So button could do that for us. So I'm going to select a blank one. It's always at the top left-hand corner here. So we move it all the way down here. So we stretch it like this. And we come over to button. So we, at the default, we type in what we want to type here. So we turn on the text. We click here. So now it's going to be view revenue by city. So cities I want to put. So now we have this. The next thing now is to make sure, yeah, it's changed very well. So the default should actually be like this. Then if I go up a little bit now, I can see on hover, I want something to happen, but nothing is happening now. On hover, I want to increase this. So can you see it now? So so now you see the increase. So we can even decide to put it on a bolder text. When we hover over it, we want it to be like this. So can you see it now? On hover, we want something like this to happen. And when we hover, we want the color to be changed to something that will be reasonable. Let's go with this here. So when we hover, this is what we want. Can you see it? Beautiful. So we have gotten this. This is our first button, but it has some kind of border around it. So we have to turn that off. So what do? We come over here, we scroll down. So we have the border and the border has been turned off. So now nothing. So go ahead and copy, then paste it down. So on this one here, don't do it on hover, do it on the default. So you can change it at once on default. So here, just type hide cities. So hide cities. So here we go. When we hover over this one, so we're going to go to on hover. So on hover, what we want is still this, yeah. But this time around, we want to change their colors. Let's see how we can do that. So we got over to this particular part here on the fill color. So let's go back here. Let me show you the color we're going to use. So we're going to use this color. I think is our background color. So that is what we're going to use. So I'm going to copy this color now. So it takes time to create something beautiful, right? So we go over here. So we go to the fill color here, turn it on. So open here for the fill color. This is what we want for the fill color. So we take it up to 0%. So the color is on hover and we don't want the color on hover. So that was the mistake we made. Let's go ahead to this and put it on default. So on default now, we want to use the same color. So now at default now, this is what we should have. So let's step off and see what it is. So it gives us this, right? So here we go. We do the same thing here. At the default, we change the color. So here we go. So we are cool with this now. But on default for this one, on default is not white. So what we want to see, even the color, for the default color, we don't want to see this color. So where we are actually on the default. So we scroll down, we change the color of the fill color to this color, something like this. So can you see it? It's only when we hover over it that it changes. So for now, this is what we want. So here we go. We have this one here. So now this is what we have. The next thing now is to start to create exactly what we want to have right in there. That is the table we are looking forward to having there, is what we're going to create now. So the very first thing we do is to go ahead and insert a table. So we have a table up. So inside this table, what we want to have inside as a data is going to customer. Where is the customer table? In the customer table, we have the city. So we have it. So we scroll down, we get the total revenue we actually generated from every single customers. So we need to actually some kind of do this and sort from highest to the lowest. Okay. We can just do this, and here we extend it as well, and we do something like this. We don't want something as long as this, so we want to maintain this part, so you can just go ahead and make it a bit smaller this way. Okay, after this now, let's go to our driver dashboard. So if you don't have knowledge of what we have done in the previous video, you might want to watch it because we don't want to create it from the scratch again. So I'm just going to copy this here. So we go over here. So if this is a continuation, you can do the same thing with me. But if it is not, you've missed something from the previous one I've created. So I'll have this one pasted here. Then I take the format painter here. I give it up to this one. So that should definitely give us, oh no, let's just, okay, now it's done. So I'm going to have this one moved off. We don't want it. So we don't want to filter anything. So all we just want is something like this. So we have something like this. This has to be placed on something. But how can we make that? Let me show you what I'm talking about. Going over here, clicking here now. Can you see this now? So this look much more better, right? So how can we create something that look like this? So when we have it hidden, oh, sorry, we're still on the very one we are creating. I'm trying to show you this one here. So if I click on this, so we have this. So this look very much more beautiful, right? So how do we create something like this? So when I even unfilter, it looks much more cool. So let's do it. So we're going to go to our PowerPoint here. We are here. So inside either of those ones now, let's some kind of create a new slide. In this new slide, I will just do this. So I'll come over here and copy and have this one pasted. So from here, I'm going to adjust this like this. So once I've done the adjustment, I'll come here now. I will pick this color and this color, copy, go over here, I'll paste them here. So for the header, I'll bring this one here. Something like this is be cool. So this one at the bottom, so I'll bring it down just to create some fun part. Something like this is okay. This is exactly what we want. I'm trying to look at okay, let's see this. Maybe we should swap. Okay, yeah, something like this is okay. So let's go with this. So with this one now, we have this and we have this. So what we can do is to right click and have them grouped. So we have them grouped. So right click now, and you can see where it says save as picture. Just click on save as picture, and make sure you don't use portable network graphic here. Go ahead and use JPEG. So once you have done that, so we go to where we want to save it in. Let's go to the same place, YouTube post here. So we already have something like that here. I just want to show you how I did it. So I would say small b G2. So this is the one. So I'm going to click on save. So it has saved this for me. It wouldn't save this particular part. It's only saving this one I have clicked on. Let's go over to our Power BI. Our creation is this. So we are here. So we bring this as a picture, insert. Then we go to image. So here is what we've created. So we have it very small. Can you see it now? Very small here. So what do? We go over here. Then from here, we click on this particular image style and we click on fit. Can you see that now? So can you see it? Beautiful. So what we're going to do now is to click on this one. So go to the top here and say bring to front, or you can use bring forward, whatever. So this one is going to be sent to back now. So we adjust it until it covers what we want. So can you see it now? So this is it. So we just need to click and do this. So all we want is this one to be in the middle of it, and that is all. So we can click on this one and just move it down a little bit. So beautiful. So the next thing we want to do now is to go over here for the total. We don't want it. We can turn off the total, which has been turned off, and it make what we have here to be looking much more elegant. So this is what we want. So after we have gotten this now, so we want to actually show how many cities do we have here. So we need to create something for that. Let's see it. So right now we need to create a measure. So we go over here. Inside here, we create a measure. And the measure name is going to be total cities. That is the cities where we have our business, channel to. So we create that and we use that over the header. So that is, we get in the numbers of the cities, right? So we just, let me maximize this for you to see it better. So now I'm going to do total cities, right? So what I'll do is to use a function called distinct count. So we are doing that over a column that has a duplicate, and it's going to be city. And that city shouldn't be the city in our customer table. In our customer table, we have distinct value of our cities, but we want those ones that has made orders or that we had transaction with. So I'm going to use this. So if I hit my enter key, so now I have it. So how do we get it here? That is where we have to go again. So remember this particular measure name, total city, very, very important. Then the next thing we're going to do right now is to go to insert. So from insert, we click on the text box. So inside the text box here, we place our cursor inside it. So now I'm going to type in here total transaction city is. Now we go over to this particular value area. We'll click on it. So I'm going to come right here right now and type in total cities. So if we have it correctly typed in, we should have the total cities right here. So what is restricting us? I think we have the right spellings. Let us wait for it. Sometime it's mess up. Okay. So here we go. We have it. So click on this one. So we have the numbers of the cities we have. So just click on save. So there you go. So this is dynamic. It changes based on our slicer or on any of the filter we place on it. So I'm going to have to just do centralize, and let's do something like 14 here. So I'll bring it inside here. I'm going to stretch it to cover up, so but not everywhere. Let's just make it this way. So I'm doing this because I want to have space to click and select everything after all. So inside here, I want to have it on white color. So we go over here, we select this, and we turn this off. So if you look at it now, it's not big enough. So it's not bold enough rather. I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I'm going to select this part, which is this number part here. So I want to increase it to look more plumby. Yeah. Ooh, go to 18. Yes, of course. 18 is cool, but giving it a bold font wouldn't be an ideal. So I want to use something like 18, like 20. Yep. Yes, this is cool. So all I have to do now is to make sure it's sitting in the center of it. So here we go. So let's check it out. If I select this now, what happens? So it will tell me how many cities we have in this state. I've just selected 4, and it's dynamic. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, it's cool. So we have gotten this achieved. That is beautiful. So the next thing now is for we to some kind of some haven't this. Let's do. Okay, select the edge. Once the cursor is not blinking, that is when you have selected. So just use your down arrow to move it a little bit. So I can now select I want to select my chart first. So first of all, I select my chart. After selecting my chart, I select that particular background we've created. I think before we select background, first of all, select the chart. Select this one, hold your control key and target the edge of our text. It's been selected. Now select this particular background. Right click, group. So we have them grouped. They are grouped as one. So now if I step off, I step back in now. So we can now move them as one to any area we want to move them to. Can you see that now? So we can move them to any area at all we want to move them to. Can you see? They can be moved as one. And the way I want to have it right in is at this particular spot here. So just for me to arrange this. Yeah, perfectly done. So I want to have it here. So we want to control it. We don't want to show it every time, right? So the very first thing to do now is to click here. Click on this one. And go over here. Align center, align middle. So I will just do this. Here we go. So release it. Release them. Let's go over to our selection first. To our selection, if I click on this one, it shows me. If I click on this one, it shows me the second one. All I'll do is to select both of them and have them in the same group. So group them. So I'll call their group BTN. Underscore group. So look at it now. If I have this turned off, both of them are hidden. If I have them turned back on, so if I click on this one, it's this. If I turn this off, it's hidden. If I turn it back on, we have it back. So what I'm going to do now is to say city chart. Okay, cities underscore group. So I have this, right? So it is time for me to play around with this. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to come here. I'll turn this off. So what I have turned off now is hide. I'll come here and click on hide, type hide. So click on this one. This one is show, is our show. So this is what will show our chart. Very important. So have them opened. So if this is some kind, turn this back on. They're all turned off. They're all turned on, right? So if they are turned on now, what we want to see on this button is the hide. So the hide button should be visible. Very important. Take note of that. The hide button should be visible. So once this hide button is visible, and this one is visible as well, click on this group and click on this particular group as well. So go over to bookmark. Click here. Double click here and say show. Cities. So don't forget what we have done the other time. Data here. So we don't want this current. We don't as well want all visual. So we have those two. We click on update. Let's get back in here. So now we turn show. We hide this. So we hide our chart. So we make sure we select this group as well. So we go over to here. So this one will be hide. Hide cities. So my cities are wrong, but I'm going to leave it like that. So I have K instead of something else. So sorry, we want the display. We don't want the data here. We don't want the current page. We don't want all visual. So we're going to click on update here. Show. Can you see that? So let us put this, double click on it. Once we have the action, turn on the action. So let's go down. Under the action, we go to bookmark. Under bookmark, we say show cities. Hide cities. Yeah, this is hide. Hide cities. So let us test it out to see if this is working. Hold the Control key and click on it. It's hidden. So the next one now is going to show it. So we go down, turn it on. We go for bookmark. So we go here. So this one will be showing the cities, right? So once I click on this, so I have it shown. Can you see it now? This is exactly what we have done. And this is it. So we have one more thing to be created here. And before we do our control of the blank, if there is any filter, let me show you what that is. So I'll come over here now to this. So if I filter anything from here, let's say I filter like Georgia. So I want to know what I have filtered. So here it says the filtered state is Georgia with the revenue. We want something like this. So how do we do this? Let's go and find out. So we go over here again. We are back here. Now we click on data. So we go here and we have to create a new measure. So let us say current map filter. So equals. So we're going to write a bit code here. So what we do now is to first of all start with variable. And this variable, I'm going to do underscore selected states. So it's going to be equals here. So we have a function that can do that for us, that can pull exactly what is being selected. So that is going to be selected value function. So with the selected value function, we can actually go to full state. So full state, and let's do this full state, not here. Was it going to be here? Yeah, full state over here, full state over here. So close this, shift, enter. So we do a new var, which is variable. So underscore, this one now will be revenue. So here we just bring in the total revenue measure we've created before. So shift it. The last one now is going to be with returning what we want. So I'm going to be using the if condition here. So the logical test is going to be if selected underscore selected state here is not, this means not blank. So if it is not blank, comma, what do we want? So we can say the filter, the filtered state is. So now we want to show exactly what state is being selected. So we close this, make sure you have a space delimiter. So we close this and we use the ampersand here, underscore the filter. So under ampersand again, we join it with the text and we have with here space, close this, under ampersand again, which is to concatenate it. So now we bring in the revenue with the total revenue here. So once we have done this now, we can go ahead and close our if. Let us see what we have created if we get it right. So we're still going to come back here to retouch something because it wouldn't be on its right shape. So let us get this into a card. So here we go. Now it's showing this. Why are we having this? 17. If I deselect, I have this. So what do we have? If I deselect, I don't want to have anything. So let's do it again. Custom. Oh, no, we chose the wrong one. Yes, I'm surprising. I think that measure was called current. Yeah, here we go. So we chose the wrong one. Here we go. So now this is what I was expecting. I was surprised when I see some figures, right? So I need blank when there is nothing selected. If I now select something, that is where I want to actually have exactly what we have typed in. So let me just quickly do this formatting first before we proceed. So over here now, I'm going to remove the category label. So I'll come over here. Let us put this on 20. So 20 will be fine. So if you look at it now, the filtered state is Georgia with this value. But this value is not formatted in dollars or whatever. So we need to actually do the number formatting. Okay. So let's go back and do it. So click here. Let me bring this down. So click back here and let's go to the revenue area here. So in Microsoft Excel, we use a text function to do this, but over here we use format. So with the format, we're going to surround this particular variable here. Remember, this variable is our total revenue, variable revenue here. So we surround it, put comma. So the format should go into double quotation. We use the dollar hash, right? Then comma hash, close the double quotation, close the format as a function. Let us hit our enter key and see what we have. So you can see. So we have done that. $885,686. So the next thing now is this Georgia here. I want to put Georgia in capital letter. So let's find out where it is. So this is it here. So we can use upper. So when we use upper over here, so we can enclose it at the end. So watch what happens when we do this. It's now on uppercase. It's gonna be on uppercase. Let's watch it. So now it's on uppercase, and this is exactly what we want to get. So finally, we are done with this. I can just make it some kind of this. I'll bring it over here. I am going to stretch it. So let's go over to the format here. The first thing I'm going to do is to turn off the background. After that, we go over here. We change the color. Then it's showing up properly. So we come over here where I love to use Comic Sans. So nicely done. Then now let us put this on 15. So this is exactly what it is. It's showing up very well. So this only should show up when we actually have an active filter. We don't want to show up when we don't have any filter. So we have an active filter now. If I deselect the filter, what do we see? So we see blank, and we don't want to see blank. Let's control the blank we are seeing now. So that blank should be controlled. So we click on this. So I'm going to put my comma here. Where is that? Yeah, comma over here. So the comma will tell me if the result is false, just give me nothing. So hit your enter key. This should disappear now. So it's gone. So we only have it up when there is a current filter on anything. So can you see it now? So here we go. If I deselect the filter, it's gone. So if I select any filter from here, can you see it? It wouldn't affect it because we only place the filter over here. So don't get it wrong. So let's say I select multiple filter now. Let's see what we're gonna have. So we still have some touches to be made. So with multiple filter, we're gonna have those on minus. Can you see? All those on minus, we need them in negative value. I don't know. We need to control the colors we see. Yeah, let me use that word. Control the colors we see over them. So how do we do that? Let's do it. So let's start from this very one so that we can see the effect of it. So let's click on it and go over here. Then instead of us to use the default color, we can click on this FX here. With our FX being clicked, click over here, we can do rule. So we can actually use or like, what do I call it? We can actually use a measure to control this, but this is okay. So I'm going to actually add new rule. So we have two rules here. On the first one, we are going to say if it is less than 100, right? That is when we want to see this color here. Else, give us this color. So we might want to actually use something that is much more violence. I don't know how to put that word. So let me copy this because I might not see the opportunity to have this again. So let us click on OK and see what we have. So this is what it is. So we can do the same thing to this one quickly. Just click over here. So go to rule, add, put 100 over here. So this is the color we were looking for. This one, paste this color. So we do this. So finally, we do it to this one, this last one here. So we click on the same thing, rows. So we have it 100. So what do we have here? Yes. So let us clear it now and see. So we clear the filter. So if you look at this now, this one seems not to be responding to what we have done. So what can we do? We have to troubleshoot to know exactly what is wrong and why that is happening. So let's select and have some negative. So all still, we don't have it actually change, which means we might have a wrong measure inside here. So let us verify what we have here. Click on here and click over here. So look at the measure. Total driver orders is what we have in that measure, which is absolutely wrong. And what we are looking forward to seeing there is total driver order, year over year. So we can click here. So we go for year over year. We'll hover over it. We should see revenue, years, growth, delivery. So now here we go. So let's go ahead and let's put this on. Let's just remove this. Let's have this on white and see what value we have on it. So we now have it as a percentage now. That is right. So, but quickly, we need to have the same thing we have over here. You can just do the copy. But before then, let's click on this one and have it change first. So go over here, go to new rule, add. So here we put 100. So we must make sure we are using the same color. And over here, paste this in this time around. Yeah, nicely done. So we just have to type in versus previous year. So, and all we have to do is to recycle through what we have done before. So we just go back to this one. So we paste it down over here. So click here. So here we go. So we can just move it a bit. So this is exactly what it is. Okay, one more thing to go. That is going to be this part here. So you can look at it. If I select somewhere like Florida here, so I'm going to have, so can you see these blanks we have over here now? How do we control it? That is the next thing we have to look at. So let us quickly go to the measure that actually produced that. That is where we have to go and check out what it is that we can do to have that particular kind of problem solved. So click over, right, just scroll down. So click on it. Let's click here. So now if you look at this, this is what we have. How can we manage this situation is the next question we have to really ask ourselves. To do that is very simple. We can use if condition to control what we see. So above it here, I'm going to type if. So doing if. So this if is asking, the logical test is this particular part. If this whole part here, just make sure you copy, Ctrl C to copy. If this whole part here is some kind of not blank, if it is not blank, then go ahead and shift enter, run this. If it is not blank, run this. You need a comma here. So if it is not blank, go ahead and run this. Remember, the same thing we have here is what we copied down here. So it's checking if this highlighted one here is not blank. It will run this. Else, if it is blank, shift enter. Before shift enter, comma. If it is blank, then go ahead and give us 0. So we close this. So for proper indentation now, I can just highlight this part. My tab key will move this for me. So this is what we have. So watch what happens if I hit my enter key. This blank we have here now will turn into 0 because it is actually blank. There is no value for the selected state, right? For current for customer with one order, this is what we have, and this is how you can actually control every part of it. Okay, the final part now is this. We have done this, and we can see that we always, irrespective of what filters we click on, we have much more repeated customers. So the key insight now is to actually look at how we can actually how do I put this? How the kind of insight we have derived, and how we can actually help this client or organization to maintain this particular same gesture to keep more customers. So we make that here. Let's do that. So over here we go to text box. I have already typed them out myself. So I am going to paste this one here. So pasted here. Let's see, is it pasted? So now Ctrl A. I would love to have it. I think it's okay. So I can just make it a bit smaller. Then now centralize it. I'm going to just reduce this a bit. And I'm going to bring this over to this side. Let's go to this format area. So let us turn off the background we have for it. So I have something like this. So this is my recommendation to the company or to my client. So since there is a notable number of customer placing multiple order, focus on customer retention strategy. So we need to have learn more here, and we're going to create a new page where that learn more is going to be some kind of comment. So to read more about exactly what they can do to give, to have more sales and all of that. So what do we do? Let's come here. I'm going to copy and paste it. So when I do copy and paste, I'll copy the pasted one over here. So step off, step back in, and we can adjust it. So once we have adjusted it, so let's go over to the text area. So here we go for, no, not here. So close this style, scroll down under the text area. So we type in here on the default. So we type learn more. So learn more here. So learn more, this is what it is. So we go over and turn off the fill. So all we want to say is something like this. So here we go. So this learn more should go to this page where it will be some kind of key insight. So now go back here. So now if we click this button, we want to arrive here. When we arrive here, we want to see something, and what we want to see should actually be Let's put this, want to change the color, and let's use this color for example. And once we click on it, we want to see this. I've already typed this in, and it's exactly what it is. So you can see what the customer or the key insight to improve customer retention. So you can read through, pause and read, pause and read, pause and read finally. So if you did create this from the scratch yourself, you would definitely know how to do this. It's very simple, you understand? So this is actually giving us page 1. So I'm going to come here now and say, okay, this is my revenue insight. So here we go. So come in here now, double click on this. So once you double click on it, scroll all the way down to the action part. Under the action part, instead of bookmark, we're going to use page navigation here. So go over here now and navigate to this particular, where is that? Driver, that is gonna be, so I think the key insight here. So if I step up from here now, so, and I click over here, it will definitely bring us to here. But how do we go back if we're in Power BI service? So we have to go to insert, and from insert, we click on this particular button here, and we click on this back button here. So with the back button inserted, so we can reasonably put it over here. So we change the color. Let's go to the button, go to the fill color here. Not the fill color, this time the border. So we change the border, open it up, change the border color to this color. Not this, not this, not this. Where could that be? Not the border. Should it be the fill color? Not the fill color. Yes, the icon color to this color. So we'll change the icon color. So now we scroll all the way down. So until we see action, we say page, we click here, we go to now to revenue insight. So when we actually click, it takes us back to where we left. So can you see it now? This is exactly what it is. So the same thing we have done is what you can do here. Go to revenue insight. Okay, this one is saying go to revenue insight, but not revenue insight. You can type here, go to driver dashboard or driver insight, wherever. Then when you get here, you can navigate through there to here and stuff like that. So look at this. This is exactly what it is that you need to do to create a very nice looking dashboard. And we have just done that here, which you have seen. So try as much as you could to update your current dashboard to something very beautiful, because you've learned a lot on how to actually have things done. So good luck on your learning cycle, with your job and everything you do in data analytics. Keep learning, subscribe, and share this to your friends and family, your co-workers, to actually know about this channel. We are all here for projects. So helping you with DAX is our key. Keep learning, and never forget to hit the like button as well.